Clowdcover is your trusted source for managed IT, hosted voice, and cloud solutions. In today's world, IT is an essential part of business, no matter if you visit with patients or perform lawn maintenance. All companies need some sort of technology to effectively communicate with their clients, process requests, keep accurate records, send invoices, pay bills, the list goes on. Whatever industry you are in, Clowdcover can help, whether you have your own IT staff or not. Clowdcover has solutions that cover businesses of all shapes and sizes. When IT breaks down, it can be costly. Let Clowdcover build your most robust, reliable, mobile, and secure platform that will keep your business running smoothly and securely while providing the flexibility of working anywhere. Give us a call at 225-755-9422 or visit us on the web at cloudcover.com. That's spelled CLOWDCOVER.com. Cloudcover, CLOWDCOVER.com, a proud sponsor of Hustle Makes It Happen, the podcast.
With combined decades of experience, the staff at Rockstar Buildings will make your next metal building purchase quick and easy. Specializing in all types of metal buildings, from carports to garages to barns and more, Rockstar Buildings wants to be your go-to source for all your metal building needs. Priding themselves on experience, reliability, quality products, and stellar customer service has made Rockstar Buildings our choice for our metal building needs, and we could not be more pleased with the workmanship, service after the sale, and of course, the hustle of everyone at Rockstar Buildings. Y'all, let me tell you about the hustle of Rockstar Metal Buildings. I personally use Rockstar Metal Buildings to build a 60 by 40 shop in my house, and I could not be more pleased with the quality of product and service that they provided to me. They were awesome from start to finish. Give them a call or visit them on the web at rockstarbuildings.com to see the many examples of what Rockstar Buildings can do for you. Rockstar Buildings, a proud sponsor of Hustle Makes It Happen, the podcast.
Rogue Record.
What's up, everybody? You're listening to Hustle Makes It Happen, a podcast about the grit, determination, and the mindset it takes to become a winner. Success is not an accident. It lives outside your comfort zone, in the trenches, where excuses are met by brick walls. So strap in, tighten up, and let's get ready to hustle. What's up, hustlers? Welcome to another episode of Hustle Makes It Happen, the podcast. Today, before we break off into the episode and get into our guest, listen, season 2, leave a review. Please, if you're a long-time watcher, subscribe, hit that little bell on YouTube so that we can get notifications and you can grab the next episode every time it comes out.
That's it, babe.
So that's it, man. We're not going to break off and talk about that too much. Today, we have Mr. Mike Bradley. Welcome to the show, man.
Hey, man. Thanks for having me.
So we got, this is one of the ones that we got, somebody sent us a hustler, which Miss Lori Steele, thank you for sending Mr. Mike to us and, getting his questionnaire and just getting, like, I'm ready to dive into this one, man. And especially we broke off a little bit before the show and I'm learning more about this guy. And I'm like, I want to keep picking his brain already. I wish we had all that on air.
I know, man. Look, that's kind of the danger of I say danger. Like, neither one of us knew Mr. Mike before about 5 minutes ago. You know what I mean? Yep. So we get to sit around the table and kind of pick his brain a little bit beforehand. And the whole time I'm like, oh my God, this is going to be a good podcast. So I'm totally ready to dive off into this. Mr. Mike, before the format of the show is we're going to sit here and we want to learn about what makes you tick. Like what kind of attributes do you possess? What kind of mindset do you have that makes you successful? What are some of the things you do every day that lead you to be a winner? I mean, that's what the show's about. But before we get off into that, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself? Tell us a little bit about your upbringing, your background. What do you do now? Floor is yours.
Okay, thanks. I'm from Gulfport, Mississippi, born and raised, country boy. Grew up with pigs, chickens, having to slop pigs before I go to school. So I developed the work ethic early. helping my grandfather, grandmother around the house. And just from there, grew into a pretty good athlete in the neighborhood, and it transitioned into middle school and then high school. Had some offers to go play college ball that I turned down, and decided I wanted to be a Marine more than I wanted to play college football. But that didn't really work out either. I was discharged on the medical and found out that I had an eye disease called keratoconus, which led me to have a couple of eye surgeries, some cornea transplants, which transformed my life. I had no idea that I wasn't seeing the real world until I had those transplants. So that's a bit about my background. Presently, I'm a gym owner. I'm also a certified teacher, and I'm married to the most wonderful woman on the world. And I have 2 sons, Mike and Miles, and those 3 individuals are pretty much my world.
So everything you do kind of centers around the 3 of them?
Everything I do centers around those people.
I love it, man. I want to back up a little bit. So you were pretty athletic dude, grew up, worked hard. You wrote in your questionnaire that your grandfather and your father were some early influences on your life. What did they teach you kind of early on that you've carried over into the later parts of your life?
2 really big things that they taught me that I think made me the man I am. That's you work for what you have, you don't steal, and be honest. And those are 2 things that I've tried to do to the best of my ability. And I really think, I didn't thank them at the time. You know, they worked me pretty hard for no pay, of course. But that work ethic is what drives me every day.
It almost, so I didn't learn that early on as some of our guests have, and obviously different people in life, but I've learned it later on. And it's because you just now know, like, it's on you. You just got to get it done. Like when you wake up and you know that you have these things in front of you, it's not like, how can you put them off, or can this wait later? You just know that it's on you to go get them done, right? I mean, that's how you think about it.
That's how I think about it. And, you know, and I also think about the fact that God has gifted me with, for me, a second lease on life. You know, I was playing high school ball legally blind. My vision was 2400, and that is legally blind. And I'm playing high school football at the largest high school in the state of Mississippi. And, you know, I just thought about, and there's things like that. I think about that, you know, I have favor and I have opportunities to wake up and do things. So I wake up early. I'm up at 3:30 every morning. And I've always been an early riser because, you know, nothing's going to come to someone that really has this love for sleep. That's just not my belief. So I get up early. And I want to make my wife proud. I want to make my mom proud. My dad's not with us anymore, but I need my wife to be proud of me and my sons to be proud of the effort that I put in each day to make our lives better.
No, so that's such a powerful driving force. I can tell the passion you have towards making your family be proud of you. Like that just came across in the way that you said it. And that is such a powerful driving force, is having a group of people that are looking up to you that you just can't fathom letting down. You know what I mean? Like, absolutely. I can't imagine. I mean, I know I feel the same way about my son. Like everything that I do, I want to do it in a manner that's going to make him proud of me later. You know what I mean?
Right.
He's 2 now, so he doesn't get it. But
right.
If he sees these patterns and these routines over and over, and he sees the work ethic, and he sees the grind, and he sees the compassion and the honesty, like your old man taught you, I mean, I think that's going to pay dividends later on in his life. At least I hope so. That's the plan.
I believe that.
That it also, I feel like we're on the same wavelength. Like this morning, I got off work 5 a.m. I knew that my wife had a very rough going throughout the night with my 3-month-old. Mm-hmm. So when I got home, I walked indoor instead of taking a shower and going to bed. I walked in, I cooked her breakfast, I ironed her scrubs to go to work. I made sure that she was set up the best that I could do in that hour time before she left. And yeah, I lost an hour of sleep, but that little window that I gave her, I hope it turned her day just a tad bit better.
Right.
And it's about being selfless too, in that sense. You know what I mean? Because that little bit of sleep I lost, if it made her smile and just feel a little bit more appreciated to go tackle her day, It was worth it.
It's a win.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So you had this, these lessons that were instilled in you early in life. You've got this drive and this support system that you need to make proud. But whenever you were young, I mean, you faced some significant challenges. And what's interesting to me is that you said you didn't even know it. Like you were legally blind playing football, which what position did you play?
Quarterback.
So, so you played quarterback, legally blind, can't see down the field, and you thought that was normal, right? You thought your vision was normal, or did you know?
Well, I didn't think it was normal. I knew that I had visual issues, but they couldn't identify them. So I just continued to play. I was also a baseball player, and I played all three: baseball, basketball, and football. So I let basketball and baseball go because of visual things. Football was easy. It's easy to see a guy. I can see him. I can dodge him. So I continue with football.
Yeah. So, and then you find out that you have this, I guess, a degenerative eye disease. Like your vision was just progressively getting worse, or was it?
It was specifically the cornea. And the keratoconus causes a. Can I back up and say that without stuttering through it?
Yeah.
Boom, Jim.
Keratoconus causes the cornea to come to a point when a normal cornea is in the oval shape so that you get all of the rays of the sun so that you can see clearly. And mines were at a point. So the only way that they could correct it at the time was through the cornea transplants. And so I was confronted when I got to college after being discharged from the Marine Corps with being sent to Birmingham to be evaluated. And there they diagnosed me in like 5 minutes what had been missed in Mississippi all my life.
Right. So what did that do for you mentally whenever you found out that you were going to require a corneal transplant to continue to live a normal life?
It was bittersweet because I was there to play football and I had to make a decision in that moment. Do I have the transplant and not have a college career, or play ball and take the chance or the risk of not having enough surface surrounding the cornea to have the transplant? So I took about 10 minutes, thought it over, and elected to have the surgery.
So whenever you elected to have surgery, like that was the end of your sports career?
That was it.
You had to make that decision.
I never played a snap of college football.
Man, so what was that like? I mean, you've been training your whole life for that, right? And you've got the God-given talent to excel at that level, to perform at that level anyway. And you've got to make a decision almost on the spot between literally being able to see and live a normal life or follow your passion and follow your dream and continue sports. Like, what was that like? I mean, I know I feel like we're drilling on it, but I want to know.
It was a punch in the gut. And I was like, I just lost. I wanted to be a Marine more than anything. So I had that snatched away a year ago. So now I'm in college and I'm like, I'm going to, football is easy. I can do this. I excel at this. And then it's taken away. I'm like, what do I do now? So I'm sitting there and I was like, okay, I can have this surgery. I can, it can correct my vision and I'll just continue my life. I'll get my education and I'll move on. But it was devastating.
So what'd you do after that? Like, where'd the road take you after the surgery?
Back to school.
So you just went to school. What'd you study?
I originally was pre-law, but while I was there at Livingston, it was Livingston University at the time. It's now University of West Alabama. So I'm there in school, pre-law, and I found out the middle school doesn't have a football team. And I'm like, that's horrible. So I go to the principal and I volunteer to coach the football team there. And I coached there 3 years. And that was 1992, 93, 94. And the program is still going now. I'm most proud of it. That's one of those things that I'm really proud of doing.
And that was in Alabama?
That was in Alabama, Livingston, Alabama.
That's awesome.
That is awesome.
And you were doing that while you were going to school too?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome, man.
That's cool.
And to know that it's still running today. So there's from 1992, 93, 94 till today, every person that has went through that school has Mike Bradley to thank.
That's it.
It's awesome.
Yeah, that's powerful too.
That's a powerful move that you don't even know how that's going to transcend or where it's going to go in life. But now you can look back in 2022 and know that every kid that went through there at some point is because of Mike Brown. That's cool, man.
Yeah, that's called a legacy, right? Mike left his legacy. So you go to school, you're doing all that. Tell us some more, man. Let's just keep digging. What happened after that? I just want to hear the whole story. Like, I'm fathomed by this.
Man, there's so much. I meet my first wife at Livingston, and we get married. Have Mike, my first son, and we're just living. I'm working at a hospital, and I'm working at Cracker Barrel. I'm just, I have to feed my family.
Yeah, just hustle.
And I'm training kids on the side. I've been training people since I was in college. I started a female weightlifting class in college, and I just continued to train people after I left Livingston. And slowly but surely, the training built over time to where I could leave the hospital job and Cracker Barrel and just focus on my training. And that's what I did.
So you're able to keep that like passion for sports and passion for helping people kind of going throughout and look, the reason why I'm using this term intentionally, like you were out there just grinding, doing what you had to do to get by.
Absolutely.
But you got this passion for sports and this passion for helping people, and you kept that going on the side while you're focused on doing what you got to do as a man to feed your family.
Right.
And that starts to blossom and kind of take off, and it led you down some other roads. So let's keep going. Let's just keep moving and talking about it.
Nick Torito at Area Home Lending, Louisiana's top choice for mortgages. If you're looking to buy, build, or refinance, they have you covered. Don't get fooled by one of those online or out-of-state banks. Nick and Area Home Lending are Louisiana-based and lend in all of Louisiana. From Lake Charles to Lafayette or all of Baton Rouge to New Orleans. If it's in this state, Nick and his team are local experts and ready to help. Your home is one of the biggest decisions and investments you will make in your life. With trust, commitment, and care, Nick will walk you through the process, step by step, making the hardest decision easy and ensuring the process is as simple and painless as possible. And with Nick, you'll find out that you're not only just another transaction or number on the list. He's invested in you, and you become family with his goal to create a relationship that will always be there. Area Home Lending has access to the best loan programs too, and with the lowest rate and fees, all while delivering exceptional customer service. Please give him a call today at 225-663-2500 or visit him on the web at www.areahomelending.com. I guarantee you, he will take great care of you. Nick Torito and Area Home Lending, a proud sponsor of Hustle Makes It Happen, the podcast.
We go through a divorce. Mm-hmm. At the time, we were living in Meridian, Mississippi, so I moved back to the Gulf Coast. I'm from Gulfport, so I need a job. So I see a job in the newspaper, CB base, the Navy CB base there. So I apply. I get the CB job, and it's just a run-of-the-mill rec position initially. And within a year, I'm the fitness coordinator for all of the programming. I'm training all of the active duty members that can't pass their PT test. I'm coordinating 5K runs. I'm over the pool. I'm over everything that has to do with fitness on the base. And that position just catapulted me Navy-wide. I was offered positions on carriers, on destroyers, and had a job that I really considered taking at Gitmo to do the same job I was doing there in Gulfport, but my sons were like 4 and 5. So I was like, nah, can't take that. Can't leave my guys. So the Navy really gave me an opportunity to train and teach, and they paid for a lot of my education, a lot of certifications and things like that. So that was a really good time.
So this is really interesting because it like looped back. So you had a really strong desire to be a Marine, right?
Absolutely.
And that was snatched away from you.
Yeah.
And then, I don't know, what, 10 years later?
89. Yeah, about 10, 11 years later.
So 10 years later, God shows back up and gives you an opportunity to go work at the CB base in Gulfport.
Yeah.
training.
Military.
Yeah, training service members. So
I was in the Navy, so I know all the terms that you were referring to right
Yeah.
now. I was actually probably in the Navy while you were
making the circuit.
while you were training in the Navy.
Man, that is so interesting. Look, that is not an accident, right? I mean, that's to me, that's got the handprint of God all over it. You know, that you had a passion for that. You weren't able to do it because of your eyes, right? And then 10 years later, you get this opportunity to go, and you saw it in a newspaper.
Yeah, I
So
saw
you
it in the newspaper.
see this job in a newspaper, you apply, you get the job. Next thing you know, you're just running all this athletic training, doing what you're passionate about, doing what you love
Right.
for the military. Like that's so, like I got chills thinking about it. Like that's not an accident.
Dude, it was amazing. And not, and because, other people had access, other agencies had access. I was training the FBI, DEA, special forces guys that were on the base. It was really a blessing for me to have an opportunity to serve our military, because I believe in military. I love our military.
Man, golly. So then what? Keep going. Let's just keep trucking along.
I want to back up real quick because he mentioned it. So you said you went through. You had your son was 5 and 6 at the time, and you went through a divorce because you mentioned that it was like a hard time for you.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
So you did some self-realization in that and in those moments. Talk about that a little bit because, look, I'm a firm believer. We actually talked about it on our last show. Self-realization in any type of failure helps a man grow. So you were going through that hard time. So you had 2 younger sons, and then now you're going through your career starting to peak up, but now you're going through a divorce. So you're battling that as well.
All at the same time.
Right.
Let's go back to Meridian before I go back to Gulfport. So I'm in a city. I don't really know a lot of people. We go through a divorce. I'm asked to leave the home, and I leave. I don't have anywhere to go. So I'm sleeping in cars. I'm homeless right now.
With a job.
With the job.
Yeah, but because you're trying to figure it out.
Yeah, but I'm homeless for like 3 months. And in those 3 months, man, I made a decision that I'll never be there again. Whatever missteps I'd taken, just a real self-evaluation was taking place. Because when I picked up my sons, we would have to go to hotels to stay. And of course they had a ball. They never knew. They enjoyed swimming in all of the swimming pools around Meridian. But on the inside, I was like, I don't have a home for my sons. What kind of man doesn't have a home? So, and I'm going to share this with you guys. And I've never told anyone this. What's his name? Michael, with the long hair, singer, Bolton. Michael Bolton wrote a song for President Trump. And it's titled "When I'm Back on My Feet Again." That song, I listen to it every day. And it helped me get mentally prepared to go through whatever I had to go through. And I can honestly say that song was not just for President Trump. It was for me too.
It was like your anthem.
It was my mantra, man. And it helped me get through that. So that was a really rough time for me.
Yeah, I got goosebumps thinking about it because, like you said, your kids thought, and that just shows a testament to who you are. Like you said, you're having to rent hotel rooms the times that you have your kids, right? Which is one at that time eating up some of your usable income that you could probably be saving to try to buy the house or the apartment. Right. So you're doing that, and your kids are like, "Oh yeah, like we get to go to Dad's right now and go swim and go get to see all the stuff." But it's eating you alive. Absolutely. On the inside, because you know that it's not all fun and games. Like you're out there literally trying to figure out what is my next move to be able to put a sustainable household for my 2 boys.
Right. Yeah, that's exactly what it was. And to this day, they'll be like, if I'm in Meridian visiting, like, "Dad, you remember we stayed in this hotel?" And it's like, "We stayed in almost every hotel here." And I was like, "Yeah." And they still think it was a fun time. I haven't told them that I was homeless at the time.
Right.
Yeah, well, that's the testament, man, is that I cannot imagine as a father and as a man what is, I've never been in that position, so I can't even comprehend what it would be like. But just hearing you talk about it, man, I can't imagine how mentally painful that was for you. But you shielded your children from that. You know what I mean? And that takes a lot of fortitude and a lot of clarity about your purpose to not let your children understand what's going on. You know what I mean? Like, you were so focused on making them happy that they thought they were out playing, having a good time. And then in the background, like, you're just, I would imagine, mentally in shambles.
Dude. So much so, I can remember a couple of dates I was on, and I was in tears. And the young lady across the table was like, "What's wrong?" And I couldn't explain it. I was really broken at that time, and didn't realize how much so to be crying on a date. And but that's where I was, and
that's what life had lended you to that point.
Yeah, and the way I saw it, and the way I see it now, I have to take responsibility for where I was.
You just pulled it out of my mouth.
It was my decision that led me to that place. So it was a matter of finding out who I am, what missteps, what steps did I not take, what steps that I took to, create the space that I was in. And there was those moments that I had to be really honest, and it catapulted me out of that particular time.
Accountability, man.
Absolutely.
And knowing that and taking. We just talked about this is you are the leader and the creator of your outcomes. I mean, some things you can't pinpoint where they come from, but almost 80-90% of what you are the creator of your outcomes.
Yeah, and look, Mike's story has both of those in it, right? There's some things happening that you had no control over, right? Your eyesight, you had no control over that, right? There was nothing you could do about that, but you still maintain that mental focus, and we're able to kind of work around that and deal with that problem, on its own. But then you have problems where you recognize that, the situation that you were in was your fault. Yeah. And where a lot of people fail, and look, I do it every day. It's so much easier to blame everybody else for every problem you have. Mentally, it's easier to comprehend that if something happens to you, it's probably somebody else's fault. And it's just easier not to take accountability. But whenever you really start focusing on looking at yourself and what you can do to improve your situation, then you become the person in control. And whenever you're the person in control, you can drive the ship wherever you want it to go. Yeah. And man, you've had both. And I love hearing this. I wish I'd have met you 10 years ago. I'm telling you, man. Because look, we talk on the show a lot about mentors, you know what I mean? And people that have been through some things, and people that have seen things and had to experience trials in their life, and what you can learn from them. And I'm just sitting here like a sponge, just soaking this one up. I love it.
So that was probably a huge pivoting point for you.
Absolutely.
Like a big staple, like you said, not getting discharged from the Marines, and then, having the eye surgery. Those are big pivotal moments in your life. This was another one, right?
Right.
A big, huge self-realization moment for your life and for your kids, and what you were going to do next to ensure that it's never going to happen again. So you go back to Gulfport.
I go back to Gulfport. I have this wonderful job with the base, and I'm there 6 years, and I kind of want to test the waters because I know they're not paying me what I can make, and I need to make more money. So I just test out the waters. I put my resume on Monster, and I get like 200 jobs in like a week, job offers. It was just crazy. But this one job offer, well, I won't say offer. At the time, this guy out of Wilton, Connecticut contacted me. He was like, "Hey, I want to interview you, but instead of bringing you here, I'm going to fly down and interview you there." So he flies down from Wilton, Connecticut in 2005. And I bring him on, I sign him on base, show him what I do for the military, my everyday operations with the gym, the pool. And so he flies back to Connecticut, and he calls me and says, "Look, my process is a 6-month process, but I've talked to my wife about you, and we want to offer you a job." And I was like, I really wasn't looking to move. I just wanted to test the waters, see what my worth really is. And so he's like, he understood. And then Katrina happened. I lose everything. So he emails me, "How you doing?" And I was like, "Hey man, I lost everything. My cars, at the time I was in an apartment home. Everything's gone." He said, "Well, I'll be in touch." So he gives me an email, sends me an email. It's like, "I've created a job at the firm for you. It's a high-scale personal training firm in Wilton, Connecticut. We normally don't do a salary. Everything's commission, but we're going to create a salary for you if you take the job." So I was like, I got to get there. So I borrowed a car from my dad, and I go to Wilton, Connecticut. This guy and his family puts me in a $1.5 million home on a lake, creates a salary for me. And it was the most generous thing. I couldn't believe what these people were doing for me. And so I'm in Wilton, I'm working, I'm having a good time, but my sons aren't there. So I'm there maybe 8 months. I'm just like, "Hey, look, I have to go home. It's not enough to just talk to them on the phone. I have to go back south. It's not that I'm not appreciative, because I can never tell you thank you enough for this." And they understood, but that was a moment that it was for me. It was a spiritual moment, right? Being brought up, being raised in Mississippi, I saw racism firsthand. I have a PhD in it, I'm telling you. But I had recently, not recently, that was maybe 2006, 2000, I gave my life to Christ. And for me, it was authentic and organic, that this is real. And I want to live my life according to the word of God. I don't have, if I say brother, it doesn't mean black. Brother means brother. Someone is going to love me like I love you. Let's take care of each other type thing. So when this opportunity came, this was a white family. And it's like God just showing me, hey, I'm real. And then, while I was on base, my prayer group was 3 white guys and myself. They are my brothers to this day, and just opening myself up to and getting rid of any negativity anyone had ever poured into me, and being pure and real about who God is, open up a whole world to me from everybody, regardless of ethnicity.
Hey, y'all, if you're in the market for a real estate attorney that can handle all your title work needs, all your closing needs, all your succession needs, whatever your needs are in the real estate industry, look no further than our friends Shay Landry and the group at Milestone Title. Y'all, we use these guys for our personal business, and they have never let us down. They've been on top of the game every time we've used them. So whatever it is that you're looking for in the real estate industry, as far as a closing attorney or title work is concerned, check out our friends over at Milestone Title. Milestone Title, a proud sponsor of Hustle Makes It Happen, the podcast.
Man, I really do. I love hearing stories like that. I grew up in inner city New Orleans, and then I moved to suburbs around the high school realms. But my view on racism was a lot different than a lot of people that grew up around here. Because, I grew up, a lot of my friends were, I grew up in the 90s. So, that's when it was really taboo to be gay. And then, but inner city New Orleans, man, a lot of my friends were black. A lot of my friends were Asian, and I never looked it was like you just said. I grew up where brother was brother, and I guess I never realized I had to move and see that it was more separated than I had even intentionally known growing up. Because I didn't see that a lot. My best man in my wedding was black, and I never looked at it that way because of how I was born in the middle of that city, and brother was brother. And there was still racism, but the connectivity between people were stronger than the color of their skin usually. Right. So I didn't see it as prevalent as some other people saw it. But hearing that moment for you for clarity was, it came at the right time for your life too, because you accepted God and you're removing those. And I'm gonna say it because it came up again. Those social and spiritual stigmas people put on each other.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Right. God removes that, and then it's clear. It's me and you, man. We're breathing the same air.
Right. Again, my high school, let's go back, briefly to my high school. There were Klan rallies every year, full garb, but they would have the faces up, right? But I can say that they never were ugly. They were just there to fundraise. And so they never said anything ugly to any of the kids, but just the presence. So that's what I come from. I was almost expelled my senior year because a cheerleader passed me a note that I never saw. I never saw the note. So I'm called to the principal's office, and I'm asking, why am I here? I thought that was another recruiter. So the principal calls me in, and he's like, I'll expel you before I let you cause a riot at the high school. And I'm like, for what? What did I do? You can't date a white cheerleader. I was like, I don't. I date the point guard on the basketball team. So he just made it clear, I'll expel you before I let you cause a commotion. So I came from that type of background in Mississippi. And, through just learning better and realizing God is bigger than all of this, that we have to get past it. And it's not as bad as the media is creating.
Oh, they fuel it.
Yeah. There's a lot of fueling going on.
They're gaslighting it.
The surgery that I had, a guy from the university found a way for it to get paid. My family didn't pay a cent to have that surgery. We couldn't have afforded it at that time. So because I tore down all of the mental walls of what society says we can't do as people, and then blessings would just pour it in and haven't stopped.
So where'd you go? Where'd you go from when you left Connecticut and you came home?
I came back home and found a job at IP Casino. They had a job posted for a trainer. So I was like, that's kind of interesting. So I applied, and it was the best job I've ever had. Even better than the one in Connecticut, because they allowed me to design the fitness center for the employees. I did it any and everything I wanted. I trained all of the executives. They sponsored all of my bodybuilding events, and they were just really, really, really good to me. The GM treated me like a son, and it was a special time for me. And unfortunately, they were bought out by another company that didn't see the value in a trainer. And by that time, I had met my wife. This was 2010. So I was trainer at IP. I was training for the city of Gulfport. Man, I've done so much. It just comes in waves. I was the trainer for the city of Gulfport. I was the trainer at IP, and I was doing my own thing as a trainer. So it was
you were doing a lot of training.
A lot of training.
So at that point, you had kind of stepped off into entrepreneurship.
Yeah.
By that point.
Yeah.
And you were bodybuilding competitively.
Yeah.
Okay. So you got a lot of irons in the fire.
A lot of irons in the fire, and I meet my lovely wife, and she just blows my mind, and I was like, I wanna spend the rest of my life with her, but I don't want to move her here to Mississippi. I'll move to Louisiana. I just have to find something to do. It takes time to build a personal training following, so I decided to teach, get certified and teach and coach.
So I'm making some connections here, and I want to ask you about them. It's like you can't join the Marine Corps, right? So you get out, you get discharged, you can't play football, but then you get an opportunity in at Gulfport, and that's your dream job. You said at the time that was all you could ever want, right? So you're doing that,
right?
Then this opportunity pops up in Connecticut,
right?
And you're living in $1 million house on the lake,
right? And
that's your dream job. Right. But something's just not right. Something's not clicking. So you give that up and you come back and you're working at IP and you're a trainer for the city of Gulfport and you got your own little personal training and that's your dream job and everything's going well.
Right.
But something's not right. So you leave that and now you're in Louisiana. The connection I'm trying to make is that like you are chasing these opportunities as they're presenting themselves to you. Like it seemed like you were by and large content with everything you were doing. So you were content in Gulfport, but something just wasn't right. So you had to leave and go to Connecticut. And then still, it's an awesome job, but something mentally is just not right. So you got to leave that. That is very, very intriguing.
Katie Benton Thompson is your local trusted realtor. Born and bred in real estate as a third-generation realtor, she deals with developments from lots and to houses. Katie was raised building the parish of Livingston. Her family roots have grown this parish for the last 30 years. This environment has educated Katie in all areas of real estate. I can tell you from personal experience, Katie Benton Thompson is a hustler in every way. She is constantly digging her heels in to give her clients the best buying or selling experience she can. Give Mandy Benton Realty Group a call and ask for Katie Benton Thompson at 225-953-0677.
And yeah, and at the same time, these other things were being presented.
That's right.
That I didn't pursue actively. The job with the city of Gulfport, I got a call out of the blue. It's like, hey, the city of Gulfport's going to build a gym. We want you to come and take a look at it and give us, your design, how you would design it if you become the trainer. And I was like, yeah. Okay, I'll come over and I'll take a look. So when I get there, the lady's like, look, there's no one else. The mayor wants you to do this. It's your job. You tell us what you want, and that's what we'll do. And you just tell me the number that it's going to take to get you on board. And I was like, really? So I gave him the number, and she was like, okay, that's what we'll pay you. When can you start? It's just like everything, each after the job on base, every opportunity after that really just presented itself.
So I'm a firm believer that none of that's an accident, right? Something caused that. What do you think it was that was bringing these opportunities? I got my own opinion. I'm going to let you tell me what you think first.
I think it's the fact that I believe that I can do anything I want. I believe when scripture tells you that, wherever your feet may strike, it's already yours. I believe that. At that time, I believed that. And I think that being positive and not focusing on any of the things that I didn't have, but focusing on positive things and everything that I can have, it's like the law of attraction. And those things came to me.
So we're on the exact same page. It was your character and your willingness, or not willingness, but your dedication to doing whatever was necessary to do a good job and do it the way that your father and your grandfather taught you, which was with honesty, with integrity, and to the best of your ability. Those three things coupled to present you with these opportunities. Because the only way you get opportunity in life most of the time is if you're actively working to go get them. You know what I mean? Like, things will come kind of fly by you or whatever every once in a while. I mean, you get lucky. Some folks will get lucky, but for you, you were pouring everything you had into everything you did every step of the way, and that's what opened those doors for you. And that is a powerful, powerful lesson.
I believe that.
I know a lot of people in the strength and conditioning world now, and I can say that this man's resume is top tier of.
Yeah, it's insane. It is insane. Like, you've done so much. All right, so I it's like Joe Dirt. I feel like we're on Joe Dirt. I want to go back and hear the rest of the story. So you left IP and you met your wife. You moved to Louisiana. Mm-hmm. Tell me more.
And that was 2011. So I get a job as a PE coach / disciplinarian at Sarah T. Reed High School in New Orleans East. That's my first job, and from there, I coached. It closed in 2012, so I get a job with KIP, Leadership Academy, which is a middle school, but I was coaching at KIP Renaissance, the high school. So same job, PE coach / disciplinarian. We're at a coaching clinic at Alabama. And I placed a resume in with Alabama. So we're there at a coaching clinic, and I'm at a track meet. And assistant head strength coach, Coach TJ, comes through, and we speak, and he's like, Mike Bradley, right? And I was like, yeah, coach. He's like, look, we're going to call you in, interview you. I can't say when, but we'll be in touch. And long story short, I got in 2014, was working with the strength and conditioning team at University of Alabama, the football team.
Which is another dream job.
Man,
Oh my God.
unbelievable.
And under a tutelage of someone that runs a very, very tight ship, which probably taught you, not saying that you didn't run tight ships, but the amount of organizational skill that goes into that program is second to none. I mean, we can all, go Tigers, but
Yeah,
let's
we see the
just
results
be
of it.
honest. Like, I mean, that man and that university runs a crazy tight ship.
It was incredible just to watch Coach Saban and how everything beneath him worked. You know, from the drills in the football camp, you know, which we really had nothing to do with. But, you know, if we weren't training the kids, we would go out and watch every drill. He would walk by and watch how every drill was set up, because he believes if the drill is set up wrong, we're going to teach the kid to do it wrong, and they're going to learn it wrong, which is true. But so he would take the time to walk the entire camp to look at every drill, and that just blew me away. That he was so involved with every detail.
CEO, man.
And you know, Scott Cochran, you know, before I met him and worked with him, I really thought it was like an act. The high energy, no, that's who that guy is. You know, incredible energy and incredible insight to be a young man. Coach TJ is the older coach. It was a really great time, and I'm so thankful and blessed to have had that opportunity.
But you didn't hang around.
Unfortunately, I couldn't. At the time, the wife and I were pregnant. My wife stayed here in Gonzales, and you know, and I would visit on weekends when I was able to. And I got a call from her one night that she miscarried, and that was another punch in the gut. So I came home for maybe 2 or 3 weeks, and my wife was like, "Look, you got to go back. You know, this is a job that, you know, everywhere she goes, people are like, they can't believe I'm at Alabama." So we talked about it, and she said she made me feel as if she was okay. So I go back to Bama for a couple of weeks and we're training, and I'm home on a weekend. Excuse me. And a Gerber commercial comes on, Gerber baby commercial, and my wife loses it. And at that point, I knew the Alabama thing is done. So I go back to Alabama, and I thank Coach Cochran, and I thank Coach DJ for the opportunity, you know, say goodbye to the guys, and that was the end of it. And I haven't regretted one moment.
Family first, man.
Family first.
Yeah, I love it. And that's that driving force that got you through that homeless period. Like, there's so much connection going on here between all these stories and so much commonality, and it's because it's you. It's authentically you. Like, that whole family first, like, you leave a job at the University of Alabama, which people would kill for. I mean, people would die for that opportunity. And you are so in tune with what's important in your life that you know that it's okay to leave that behind and go focus on what's important. And I absolutely love every second of that.
Dude, I admire, like, I internally admire this.
Dude, me too. Like, I am blown away by this story. So you leave the University of Alabama and you come back here to Gonzales, right?
I come back to Gonzales, and there's a head coaching job vacancy at Sophie B. Wright, a high school, uptown New Orleans, and I apply for the job. I don't get the job. I didn't leave my job at KIPP, but I applied for this job, and I didn't get it. So I was prepared to go back to KIPP after the summer. So I get a call from the principal, and she says, "You know what? We're going to create a job. We're going to create a strength and conditioning position for you, and that's all you're going to do. You don't have to worry about teaching the class. You're going to do strength and conditioning all day." And I was like, wow, that would be great. So I accepted the job, put in my resignation with KIPP. And so when I get to Sophie B. Wright, after about 2 weeks, the principal calls me in, and she wants to offer me the dean job over the school. And I don't want the job because I was like, I can do my strength and conditioning and go home. The dean job is all encompassing. You're over buses, you're over all of discipline, and I'm almost at every sporting event because I'm over athletics. I was like, I don't know. So she offered me a $25,000 raise, and I was like, I don't know. Let me talk to my wife about it. So I accepted the position, and it was a great job working at Sophie B. Wright. Trying to help our young people understand discipline and understanding the importance of recognizing authority. I'm like, you guys are losing your lives in the streets because you can't follow simple commands like stop, put your hands up. It's dark. They don't know what you have in your hands. So to make them feel comfortable, put your hands up, follow simple commands, because guess what? This officer wants to go home at the end of the day. He or she has a family. So if you can't follow simple directions, then you probably have something that you're hiding. It may be a weapon. So let's follow commands and keep small things small. So I took that opportunity to really teach kids things like that, not just suspend them and expel them, but let's learn some real life things here, because lots of times you can go home if you just follow simple commands. So from there, the thing about that job is I'm taking guns, I'm taking knives, I'm taking things like that. My wife is like, I know it's more money, but I really want you to leave the job. So I was like, okay, maybe it's time to open the gym. So I decided to open my gym, the Physique Doctor. So we did that in 19, and from 17 to now, I've been teaching PE it's Tom Benson now, but it was Theodore Roosevelt and Kenner. And so that's what I do now. No more coaching, no more dean job. I'm just a PE guy and a small gym owner.
Just doing what you love and getting to spend time with the family, maximize time with the family.
Absolutely.
But you've done a little training, because you took a trip recently somewhere and you won something, didn't you?
I participated in the transplant games in San Diego, California. This was a transforming event. I didn't know anything about it. I just happened to have a client whose company was one of the sponsors. And so she asked me to take a look at the page, and I did. I was like, you know what? I'll participate in it. So I did the 100 meters and a couple of other smaller events. And while there, I witnessed people that donated their children's organs to this other family. And now these two families are family, all ethnicities. And man, I was in tears the entire weekend. It was the most powerful thing I've ever seen. It's just one great family.
Connectivity, man.
Yeah.
It's a power that you can't break it. I mean, it binds you together. I mean, it may soften at times, but connectivity, man, it's real.
Yeah. And so as long as I'm able, I'll never miss another one. I will never miss another one.
But you're fast too, aren't you?
I'm kind of fast to be an old guy. I'll train for the next one though. I didn't train for this one. I just decided to go do it. But I'm going to train for the next one.
So you let me know. You let Hustle Makes It Happen know when you're heading there next year, because we'd like to make a donation to help you get you there, man.
Oh man, that'd be great.
Yeah, for sure. That. Maybe look, if things go the way that we want them to go, we're just going to be doing all this full time. So we'll just bail from here and we'll come with you.
Good deal.
Yeah, we'll drive over there.
It will change your lives, man. If you just to witness all that stuff.
No, that's what excites me more than anything else in the world, is to see that type of environment and people, because it's pure, man. It's pure.
Yeah.
It's not. There's no forcing. There's no agendas. Mm-hmm. It's feelings that you cannot make up. I don't know, man. I don't know, you're not explaining. I can feel it, and I wasn't even there.
I'm telling you, yeah. You're right. It's beyond words. The majority of it is beyond words.
So knowing your story, which is absolutely, actually, it's incredible.
It really is.
But you're a leader now, knowing even more about you. You're a leader of youth, and you're a leader of helping people find the better versions of themselves as a mentor, as a coach.
Right.
What's a huge attribute and I want to know this personally because I'm selfish, but what is one of the higher attributes that you want to help our youth and kids coming up instill to be better humans later on? And I'm asking that because, I have a daughter and a son and somebody that's at your caliber and some of the things that you've overcome and fought and came out on the better end. I want to know what you think about it.
I think a great attribute would be just caring. Caring and kindness can go a long way. Being sympathetic to others that, even if you can't identify, make an attempt. A hug, a handshake can go a long way. That time being homeless, that transformed me inside to where when I see a homeless person, I don't just throw money at them and walk by. I want to know, hey, what's your name? Where you from? If I have the time, so what happened? To make them feel like a person again, and not just, okay, I gave them some food, so I've done my good deed for the day. A hug or a handshake, that's humanity. That can make them feel like a man, even though he's sleeping under a bridge, or make her feel, valued, even though they're sleeping outside. So kindness, friendliness, being attentive and just listening. I think those are things, can't get around integrity, and being honest and hard work. And those things, for me, goes without saying. But kindness, we don't teach a whole lot of kindness anymore, and being respectful to authority figures. Those things need to come back.
God, man, it's such a good interview.
I know. I wasn't mentally prepared for this. I don't think we've definitely not had somebody come on the show and tell their entire life story, like from Genesis to Exodus. You know what I mean? Golly, that's so much to unpack. But Mr. Mike, wow. I mean, you've lived a life that seems so full and so purpose driven and so clear that it's just motivating me. It's like I want to run through the wall. I don't know why. Like, I'm just highly motivated right now. But man, thank you so much for coming and sharing that story with us. There's so much value in what you've told us. I mean, you've learned over the course of a very challenging life how to keep your head down, how to grind it out, how to stay focused on what's important in your life, and you can't ask for anything else. You know what I mean? And it has definitely inspired me.
This should bring some clarity to maybe some of the people that are looking at some of the obstacles that they've been facing, or even will face in the future that they don't even know is coming yet. But some of these things that Mr. Mike has overcome is nothing that any high percentage of any community will ever face. A cornea transplant, getting kicked out the military, being discharged out the military, living homeless. Like, a lot of people aren't going to face those types of problems.
That's right.
And rewind back, soak it in, feel it, figure your way out, because this guy's a walking testament that
to what a good character and some hard work will do.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? I mean, it's that simple. Have a good, clean.
And people have gravitated towards him to have him be a part of what they're trying to build because of what he's done and what he puts out. City of Golf. I mean, think about all the things that he's just said. People are like, hey, they offered me the job. They made me a job. Like, they didn't get that job, but they wanted me a part of their team. I mean, it's because of the energy and who he is as a person and as a coach and as a mentor, as an employee, as a dean. I mean, I want to go have lunch and hang out with him.
I know. It's insane. It's so much. It's so much. I love it. Man, Mr. Mike, thanks. Do you have? I don't know if you want to plug your gym, or you got some social media handles people can follow you on, or anything like that.
Man, I'm a dinosaur when it comes to social media. But I just want to thank you guys, man, for having me. This was just talking about it. I'm like, wow. When I don't really think about everything I've been through.
Yeah.
Unless someone asks a specific question, but I guess I may have been through a few things, you know. And I'm blessed to have encountered really good people along the way. You know, my prayer group, the guys I told you about, those guys, man, are always there, you know. And just I'm surrounded by really, really good people.
Well, I'm gonna put it out on the airwaves. If you're doing prayer groups, being that we're all local, I would love to be a part of one of your Sunday prayer groups if you have one.
I definitely keep that in mind.
Yeah.
I just went and spoke to last Thursday.
I mean, if it's a Sunday morning that we just decide to go have lunch together and talk God and life, I would be blessed to be in your company again.
I just went and spoke to, I think September 8th. I spoke with maybe 140 men at Zor out in Central.
Okay.
And we had a really good time. Really good time. But yeah, I'm gonna keep you in mind, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got 2 fans for life. I can tell you that. Man, Mr. Mike, this has been awesome, man. I really, really appreciate I keep saying it. I'm just so thankful that we got this opportunity. I absolutely love it. You got anything you want to close out with?
If you're ever in the Gonzales area, if you need health tips, diet tips, some training, the Physique Doctor is an excellent facility, and I'm an excellent trainer.
That's a fact.
Yep.
That's it, man. All right, Mr. Mike, thank you. Guys, that's it. It's another episode. Hustle Makes It Happen, the podcast. Remember, new viewers. If you're a new viewer, you just found the channel, hit that subscribe button, hit the little bell. If you're a long-time listener, drop us a review on iTunes. It really helps us out. Appreciate all of you. It's another episode. Hustle Makes It Happen, the podcast. Until next time, keep your head down, keep your eye on the ball. Hustle makes it happen, but most importantly, have fun.